this somewhere because I did have to look it up, and SuperTrack doesn't have it on file for whatever reason. Your pump drive is pretty much all stock Caterpillar, nothing fancy. This is your implement drive, and they do something in there where they take a plate out, and I think it just bumps your pressure up. But besides that, that's the only thing that's modified. Valve bank is back here. It is getting a little greasy between cleanings. It's not, leaving a puddle or making a mess in there, but it is kind of starting to weep at some point, and I don't know, it's hard to say how long it could go. You take it out and seal it, or just keep it, and as long as it's not making a mess, you're pretty much okay. Battery was replaced last summer or last fall with a new one. Other than that, your drive line hoses out to the final drives come through here, and your belly pan down to the pump drives in here. 5-line machine, backwards, forwards, brake, case drain, and that's about it. And your high speed, it does have high speed gears, so your 2-speed shift. Not that you really run it with the steel undercarriage, but very basic. These axles were converted from a suspension undercarriage. Probably can't see them in there, but these were changed. These are brand new on all 4 sides to change to this track frame. This track frame is the same as the rubber CTL, but your idlers, your rollers, and your sprocket are different to accept the steel track. It does have the 3rd roller as well to support that. Those are brand new. The slides on there, there's caps on there. That's all that holds it on. And tension, your 3rd link here, this comes off. There's a hydraulic cylinder in there with a large spring, recoil spring, and it just takes grease. If you're doing a lot of tracking, like covering multiple acres, in a day, a lot of moving, you'll grease this up just to keep it tight, every 2 to 3 days probably, if you're really not moving that much. Can probably go further. You can have some deflection in it. You don't want it super tight, but you do want a little bit of sag in it. Does have aftermarket rock guards on there, so this track system is basically impossible to derail unless you get something really big in there and walk it around over the idler on the front or the rear, or your tension is just way off on the track. I've had these on for 150 hours or more. I've had this thing buried in mud up to the cab, up to the door. Side hill as hard as you want, rocks, stumps, nothing. I've had no issues with this trying to hop a track, get bound up, derail anything. It is night and day difference from a rubber track machine where, you can even just back up on a stump with a rubber track and it'll kick it off when they get worn out. All the hydraulic cylinders were rebuilt by Caterpillar last year, Cat dealer. So rebuilt, resealed. Those are good to go. This arm assembly right here, there's supposed to be a lock ring on the inside of this pin. That's missing, so when you push down on it too hard, ground level, it'll kick this out a couple of inches because that's gone. And what that causes is that arm bracket will contact the front of the tracks and it'll chew it up a bit if you're not watching it. That's the one kind of big repair I would do soon, is at least get that lock ring on and probably do new pins and bushings. You can see where that's wearing, not real bad, but it is contacting and Granted, it's an '08 with almost 3,000 hours. It's still pretty tight given the life it's had. HVAC filter for inside the cab. There's one in here. There's one in the cab. Blow those out. Keep those clean. That really minimizes the dust. A lot of guys will put this down and just tape this up. That's kind of the one thing that's lacking is the debris management is, you know, things can get in here, get in these arm pockets. Previous owner, really, this zip system tape, this flashing, you tape this up best you can, and it makes a huge difference on the dust and the debris that gets into this cab. Just stepping up here. These are those mounting bolts. Impact door, pretty good shape. There is a spare door that comes with it. The work lights have been upgraded to LEDs and are pretty good. I don't really do a lot of work at night, but it definitely lets you get around and you can really see what you're doing way better than the factory lights. Besides that, hydraulic fill, talked about that. Cooling, the roof cooler is your AC and your hydraulic cooler up there. Lid flips up, blows out, easy to service. Pretty straightforward, well guarded. Just thinking what else. Side saddle tanks, it holds 50 gallons of fuel. Fill on this side, it'll cross fill over to that. The tanks were taken off the machine and cleaned out last year by the Caterpillar dealer. Reinstalled new seals. This drain is weeping a little bit, but take that off and some RTV tape and you're good to go. On that, does have a big bumper with a 12,000 pound hydraulic winch on it. Great for kind of pulling logs out of spots if you need, or recovering the machine if you go down a hill and suddenly you're stuck, which I maybe have learned. But nice, good guarding. You know, you will smack trees. The biggest thing I found is you can sneak by stuff easy. The head we can go look at, but the head's the exact same width as the machine. So usually if you're backing up or something, unfortunately you normally do smack the tank, which is why it's missing a lot of the paint there, just from rubbing. But it's a very beefy, well-built machine. I mean, you can see the size of the plate and the tube that attaches to the bumper, and I have smacked some trees hard with this and you can't tell at all. So very heavy duty built machine. I want to say with the head off it weighs around 14,000 just as it sits. And I'll see if I think of anything else, but that's kind of just basic walk around maintenance rundown on the machine.